to Mana Drain. This is... what episode is this? This is episode 28. 28 episodes. I'm Mox Mornigan. I have with me Eli. Oh, where is this boy gone? Elijah, where are you, bud? Hello? Hello? You were there? No, where'd he go? Hello? Eli? It's time to record our show, bud. You coming? Hello? Oh, there you are. There he is. He's joined the crew. Here, put on your headset. And get you hooked up here. How you doing, bud?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Well, we're here to talk about Magic the Gathering. The Mana Drain was a podcast that we started a while ago, talking about all things Magic, some strategy. We crack open some booster packs and some other products. We review some other products. Really kind of jump in talk about anything Magic. Lately, Eli has been kind of stepping in as far as co-host goes because he really enjoys it, right?
Yeah.
Talking to the microphone, dude.
Yeah.
Remember, you got always talking to your microphone.
He's
still learning. Even. Hand up. I got a question. Yes, sir.
I really liked. I captured the Ho-Ho from Pokemon last.
Oh,
night.
so yeah. So I'm gonna ask you, what have you been up to lately, and what have you been up to lately? What did you just say? Talking to your mic.
Capturing
The Ho-Ho or Ho-Oh or not Ho-Ho or Ho-Oh?
yeah, Ho-Oh.
Ho-Oh. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Still getting over the cold.
And
So we went on a Pokemon raid, and you caught the new legendary bird.
And I caught it on the third try.
You caught it on the third try. Very good.
Because it said it would be easy. It would be kind of hard and kind of easy to capture.
Oh.
A little bit harder than the Suicune.
Oh, okay. So, what else have you been up to lately? This is my 7-year-old son, by the way. Say hi to everybody.
Ah!
So, what else have you been up to lately?
I was up to making up some changes to my Gyarados in Rayquaza deck.
Oh, so you're making changes to your Pokemon deck?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So Eli has started playing Magic. We've built a couple decks. We've gone to quite a few pre-releases, right? I think we went to Amonkhet. We went to Hour of Devastation. Did we go to? I don't remember if we went to Aether Revolt or not. I don't remember. But I know we've gone to
the desert one.
the desert one was Amonkhet. So I think those are the ones that we went to. I don't know.
Even this one.
Yeah, and we did Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, and the Ixalan. So we went to pre-releases. We've gone to those, had some fun there, and then we actually did pretty good at our last one. So, or at Hour of Devastation, Ixalan was a whole other story, but yeah. So this is you started playing a couple years ago. I guess, quote unquote, learning how to play. Now
I think we did one on Ixalan or two.
We did one on it. Ixalan was the last one. That was the dinosaur one.
Oh yeah, we blessed the people.
We busted the people.
I don't know how to say it.
It's all good. It's all good.
We beat the people.
We beat the people. We did pretty good on Ixalan. But what was I gonna say? So yeah. So we'll be going to the Rivals of Ixalan. That's the next set that releases, and that's the beginning of the year. But there is a new set coming out
next week.
This week, right? Called
this week or next week?
It comes out on Friday. Called Unstable. Now, the unsets, as they're put, Unhinged and Unglued.
Even one of the cards does. You get to I think switch
your library.
We're
gonna talk about them. We'll talk about them. We're gonna talk about these crazy cards. These are not for 10 minutes. These are cards that aren't normal. They're not.
10 seconds.
Let me finish, buddy. They're not in our normal sets. They're not standard legal or anything like that. But they're kind of in their own universe. The Unglued and Unhinged releases were very tongue-in-cheek comedy joke sets. So there's a lot of things that don't make sense in here, and it's all silver bordered cards and stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. We're gonna talk about just a few cards, not a lot. We're not gonna do a full review, but because of time. But there was one other thing that I want to talk about before we get going. Before we also have some packs to crack open. And you would sneak a Pokemon card in here too, wouldn't you? Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, two.
Go ahead and put that away. Is that in your pocket?
Yeah.
Let's not keep cards in our pocket. Yeah? Oh, God. I mean, I did that when I was a kid, but I'm telling you to make sure that your cards stay, in somewhat good of condition, not to keep them in your pocket, right? Don't put them on your bikes, your spokes of your bike. Don't put them, in your pockets. Don't store them in your lunch pail. Don't do stuff like that.
Don't put it in your pocket.
Right. Because that bends your cards. So, anyway, before we get into, we got 5 packs of cards here. We're going to open up. We've got 1 pack of each set from standard. So we've got Kaladesh, Ether Revolt, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, and the newest Ixalan with the dinosaurs. So we're going to be cracking those open. We're not going to show all the cards. We're just going to show a couple of them.
And the rare.
Probably lean back and talk into your mic.
Probably the rare.
Yeah, we'll talk about them. Anything that stands out and stuff like that. But before I do that, before we go into those packs, I wanted to give a shout out because a few episodes ago we opened up the Merfolk versus the Goblins dual decks, right? Mm-hmm. And we noticed that the rares in the Goblin set were not good. Like the bottoms of them were damaged, right? Mm-hmm. So we had to take them back, right? Mm-hmm. I want to give a shout out to Epic Loot in Centerville. Like they 100% customer service oriented, fantastic store. If you are in the Dayton area, heck, even in the Ohio area, traveling, whether you're in Cincinnati, Columbus, if you're traveling around the area around Dayton, it's definitely worth it to check it out because the store is first of all, it's huge. They've got tons and tons of things to look at, things to buy, not just Magic cards. I'm
touching. I thought it was the one with the a lot of
board games.
Not board games. I thought it was the one with a lot of the Pokemon stuffed animals.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. Epic Loot with the glass doors and all that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they, no questions asked, took the cards, briefly looked at them, and said, "Yep, just go ahead and take another one. We'll send this one back to the distributor." Obviously, there's a printing error. So I really do appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to give them a shout out for is in the Dayton area, I was looking for a very obscure game for someone for Christmas, and nobody in this area had this game. Heck, some of them didn't even know about the game. And it's a pretty new release, and I was kind of getting frustrated. I didn't want to have to order it online. I wanted to give my money to a local game store. And Epic Loot had it, so I'm really excited that they had it. So if you're they're located in Centerville. Their main office is in Centerville. But definitely give them a shot if you're in the area. Yes, you can talk now. Go ahead.
You can get 4 of them, and I can get 1.
Well, how about this? How about we open? We'll just take turns, right? So you can go ahead and open one. You want to open the first one? Which one do you want to open? You want to open Amonkhet? Okay, show the camera which one you're opening. All right, so you're going to open Amonkhet. All right.
Well, you just do that while I open this, and you can put up some of the cards.
That's what I'm going to try and do. I don't remember. Do we have Amonkhet saved? That's the question.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Give me 1 second here. Card display. I don't know if we have Amonkhet saved. We don't, so we'll have to hotfix this.
Ew, a bad rare.
A bad rare? Oh no, not a bad rare. Oh, okay. Well, we won't put them up there. We'll just hold them up. So, Heart Piercing Manicore.
This is better than my rare.
All right, so
This is better than my rare.
what's going on, Poppy? It looks like we're being watched on the big screen. Watch out.
Yeah.
Yep. So why don't you scooch closer and talk into the microphone? All right. So heart-piercing mana core. How much does he cost?
2 of anything and 2 red.
Yep. 2 of it. And what's his power and toughness?
For 3.
4/3. So he deals 4 damage and takes 3 damage to kill him. Right. And it says when he enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, he deals damage equal to the creature's power to target creature or player. So you play him, and you sacrifice something else, and it deals damage to their equal to their power to a creature or player. So if you sacrifice a 10/10, it deals 10 damage to any target. And then it also has Embalm, which basically means you can pay 6 and exile a creature from your graveyard and put a copy into play. So you get to cast it multiple times.
If it is dead, you can put it back in your hand.
Nope, not in your hand. It goes right into play. So you pay 1 red and 5 generic, and it goes from your graveyard back into play. But it's a token, and you actually sacrifice or you exile the card itself.
Is it 2 red or and anything?
No, it's just one. It's just 1 red.
That's it.
Yep. What other cards did you get in there? Anything else good?
Actually, this is the one.
I'm gonna go ahead and open up Kaladesh.
This is the good one. This is a good one.
That's a good one. What's this one? Cryptic Serpent. It's a blue 6/5 for 2 blue and 5 generic mana, and it says it costs 1 less to play for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Now that's not that bad. Actually, that's a really in limited. That would be a really good top end. I know in limited you don't necessarily cast a lot of instants or sorceries, but one thing that you do need in limited is a finisher, and being able to cast this for, if you can get 3, 4, 5 knocked off of it, and cast it for 2, 3, or 4 mana, a 6/5 is fantastic. So building like a control deck. What else did you get? Let's see here. So this is a human wizard. Seeker of Insight. It's a 1/3 for 2 mana.
This is even better than my rare.
And she can tap, draw a card, and then discard a card. You can only activate this ability if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn. So it's not that great, but what else did you get? We're not gonna go through all of them. This is Soul Stinger. He's 1 black and 3 generic. Come on, focus. See, this is why we need to. I apologize. We're gonna do a better job of getting these cards saved onto the computer so we can actually post them. Let's see. So when this enters the battlefield, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control, and then when he dies, you can put a -1/-1 counter on target creature for each -1/-1 counter on him. So basically, he transfers. When he dies, he transfers all the -1/-1 counters. All right. Let's switch gears. Let's keep opening up some cards. Go ahead and put those in the stack here.
I got one of these guys.
Yep, that's cool. So this is Kaladesh. So we're gonna open up some Kaladesh. This is the oldest set in Standard right now.
So maybe this is your packs in this.
Well, we're gonna keep them all in one. So let's fast forward right to our rare. We got a garbage rare. Rare. It's a dragon. So it's a 3/3. It's a 3/3 for.
If it's a dragon,
4
I
mana.
take it.
There we go. Yep, 4 mana, 2 red and 2 generic. What kind of ability does he have?
Flying.
And so his name is Skyship Stalker. What's his first ability? How much does his first ability cost?
1 red.
Yep, and so it says Skyship Stalker, and then you read the rest.
Gets +1 +0 until end of turn.
Yep, and then he's got another ability. So
1 red.
Skyship Stalker.
Gains fast
first
strike I can't see. Until end of turn.
Yep, and he's got a third ability.
1 red.
And it's Skyship Stalker.
Gains haste until end of turn.
Right, so you can buff him up. You can give him haste, which means what? What does haste do?
It can attack in the first turn.
The first turn it comes down. Yep. And then first strike just basically means it deals its damage before anybody else does. So
you can attack first.
Yep, you can attack first. Then even if they block, your guy deals his damage first.
I would take it if you don't want him.
Oh, you? No, we're gonna put him in my binder. He's gonna go in my binder because I don't have him yet. So we're trying to fill out the collection. All right, what's the next pack you want to open? We opened up Kaladesh and Amonkhet. So you can pick from. Okay, so we're gonna.
Actually, this.
All right, so let's show it to the camera so everybody out there can see it. Whoop. Okay, so you're opening up Aether Revolt. So this was the second set in after the Kaladesh one. So this one's pretty old too.
I'm open.
You're opening them now.
I'm opening a old one.
You're opening an old one. Oh man.
Where's my rare?
Should be all the way in the back.
Oh, this is my rare.
Nope, that's not your rare. That's a foil card. Barricade Breaker is a foil card, so it's kind of shiny. I don't know if you can see it. There it goes.
Is this my rare?
It's kind of shiny. Yep, that's your rare. So Barricade Breaker is how much does he cost?
7 of anything.
Yep, and what's his power and toughness?
7/5.
7/5. Now the reason why he costs so much is because he's got an ability called Improvise. And basically what that means is he's an artifact himself, but there's other artifacts that you can put on the battlefield during your turn. And any one of those artifacts that you turn sideways makes his cost less each turn or when you cast him. So like let's say you have 4 artifacts, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you have 4 artifacts, you turn all 4 of those sideways. We call that tapping, right? So you turn all 4, you tap all 4 of those. So instead of costing 7, he now costs 3. All right?
For what?
For 7/5. Right? And then also he has to attack every turn if able. So that's not that big of a deal. Your rare that you got is called Oath of Ajani. It's a gold card, and come on, camera, focus.
Focus.
Here. All right, Oath of Ajani costs. What does it cost? It's an enchantment.
1 green.
Talking to your mic.
1 green and
1 white.
1 white.
There you go. And it says, let's see here. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll let you read it. You should be able to read this. All right, talking to your mic. What it says?
I can't.
So when Oath of Ajani.
When Awful Johnny enters the battlefield.
Yep.
Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
Very good. So when you play this, all of a sudden all your 1 toughness 1/1 creatures, your 2/2s, they all get an extra bump in their attack and their defense. Mm-hmm. So this is a good top end card. Now it also has a second ability. Planeswalker spells you cast cost 1 less to play. So when you have a Planeswalker, instead of casting it for 4 mana, mm-hmm. you can cast it for 3 mana and so forth. So a lot of cost reduction. Not too bad.
Wait, do we have 2 more?
We do have 2 more. We have Hour of Devastation and then the Ixalan. Which one do you want to open? And I'll open up the other. Or I'll open up the other.
I want to go for Ixalan.
You want to do Ixalan? So I'm going to do Hour of Devastation. All right, let's do it. So let me open this one first, and then you can round out the show with that. Okay. So we'll skip forward.
Where's your...
We got another foil. We got. Man, we did not do well as far as card pulls go. So we got another foil card, Sunset Pyramid. is an artifact.
Hopefully this is a good rare.
It's a foil. Hold on 1 second. So it costs 2 mana. It's an artifact. So this is, again, with that Berserker thing that you got. You could tap this and make him cost less. But anyway, so this pyramid enters the battlefield tapped with 3 brick counters on it. And then the brick counters do things. So you can pay 2, tap it, remove a brick counter, and you can draw a card. Or you can pay 2, tap it, and scry 1. So you can basically draw 3 cards over 3 turns. And let's see here. Our rare is Pride Sovereign. It's a giant lion thing.
Boo.
Nah, this isn't too bad. So Pride Sovereign gets +1/+1 for each other cat you control. It's a 2/2. And then you can pay 1 white, tap him, and then exert him. Basically means you tap him and he doesn't untap during your next untap step. And you get to create 2/1 white cat creature tokens, which then actually become 2/2s because they are cats. So that's okay. Not the best. Wah, wah, wah. All right. We're not going to get any masterpieces because there were none in the set, but let's open up a good card. Let's open up a good one.
Hopefully a good rare.
A good rare. That's what we're looking for. A good rare. I'm trying to think. I don't think Fatal Push was in this one. I think that was a few sets ago. Would you like some help with that so you don't... Okay, there you go. There you go.
Please good rare. Is this my rare?
That's your rare. So you got
This one?
the land. Yep. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. These are actually worth about $4 or $5. So that's not too bad. So Drowned Catacombs. There we go. So Drowned Catacombs enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island or a swamp. And then you can tap it to make blue or black mana. So you can use it to pay for either blue or black spells. It's very good. You got a foil card too. What was your foil card?
I'm gonna do this one first.
Okay, so what's this guy? So this is Raging Swordtooth. Raging Swordtooth. Okay, I'm gonna make you read it. What does it say?
1 raging.
So how much does it cost?
3 of anything and 1 red and 1 blue. 1 green.
Okay, and what's its power and toughness?
5/5.
Okay, and it's a dinosaur. So what does that say?
Trample.
Okay, and it says, what's that word?
1
Raging
Swordtooth
Enters.
enters the battlefield. It deals 1 damage to each other creature.
Very good.
But what if it does it tack to your guys or the opponent's guys?
It does 1 damage to everybody's creatures except for him. He's the only one that doesn't get hit by it. So it does.
It's like Earthquake.
It is like Earthquake. Very good. So it hits everybody. But the nice thing and the way that works in this set is because there's a few creatures. Let me see if you got one. Let me see your deck real quick, or your pack real quick. In this set, there are actually creatures, and of course you didn't get one. Darn. No. There you go. There are cards that say there are creatures that have the word Enrage ability. Their ability Enrage, and essentially what that means is whenever that creature is dealt any kind of damage, something happens. So there's one that draws you a card. There's one that gains you life. There's one that does more damage to other creatures and things like that. So essentially you're going to be putting this in a deck that has Enrage abilities and triggers those Enrage abilities. But it also hurts their creatures as well. So
what's my token?
I didn't see what your token was. What was your token? Did you have a token? Nope, no token. Oh wait, yeah, you had a treasure token. So, all right, cool.
Here's one of them. Here's the last one.
All right.
Here's them.
Oh, there's the last one you want to talk about. Okay, this is 2/5 for 4 mana. It's a Merfolk. There's nothing special about it. All right, so let's put the cards aside. Let's briefly talk about some unstable cards. So Unstable, like I said at the top of the show, is one of the new sets that's coming out later this week. It's called an unset, UN and then set. Essentially, it's a joke set, so all the cards are funny in some way. They make silly references and things like that. When I was, I don't know, when I was 13, I think 12 or 13, they came out with the first set called Unglued. And there were cards in there. There was like a creature that had denim walk. Essentially, what that meant was if your opponent was wearing some type of denim, like jeans, the creature was unblockable. So there was really silly cards and things like that. Things that you can't do in normal Magic. So this set like prides itself on breaking the rules, bending the rules, in a fun and innovative way. Now these cards are not usable in standard sets and tournaments and things like that, so that's completely separate. So that kind of gives them, and the way you tell the difference is these cards that we just opened are all black border. So you see how that's a bad example. See how the card is black bordered, and actually. Well, I don't want to go digging. I've got some.
And the green is green.
No, not that. No, I'm talking about this. The actual border, like the outside, the way outside is black. See how the outside's got black around it. See how this one's got black here. Let's pull up another card. So you see on the top and the left and the right, it's got like a silver border card, right? So these cards have that silver border, whereas any other card that you're looking at from a standard set has like a black border.
And this one has a black border.
All those cards that you open in these sets will have black borders, right? Those are basically signifying that you can use those in sanctioned tournaments. They're legal. There's no funny business going on. But with the unsets, to kind of distinguish them, they added a silver border. That way you can tell the difference, right? So they call them silver border cards versus black border cards. So kind of going back to this is the first one I want to talk about is something that's super fun to do. It looks like a blast to play. It's called Hot Fix. It costs 1 blue, 1 white, 4 generic. Yes, what would you like to interrupt with? Go ahead.
Can I
scooch up?
Can I get my drink?
I will get your drink. Is this your drink?
Yes. No.
That's empty.
It's the
down here.
Yeah.
All right, just don't spill it. So Hot Fix is a sorcery spell that you have 10 seconds to look at and rearrange the cards in your library. At the end of those 10 seconds, if you are touching one or more of those cards, you have to shuffle your library. So for 6 mana, if you've gotten to 6 mana, first of all, and you're still alive, good for you. You're doing something right. But if you can't win, if you're looking for that one card and you could just fan out your deck or whatever, right? Find that card, bring it to the top, put your deck down, right? You're not going to obviously not have enough time to like cycle through everything, but you're going to be able to pull 1 or 2 cards out, right? Or at least, if you look at like the top 5 cards, like, oh, those are garbage, you put them down to the bottom 5, that's still technically, in my opinion, worth it. So what other cards, were there any cards in here that you wanted to look at, buddy?
Let me look.
There's an elephant.
No thanks.
You don't want to look at the elephant?
I have to look at that one with the smile.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. The other thing that's really cool about this set, too, is the lands. The lands are fantastic. We'll show those here in just a second. Let me pull up his card here. So Eli likes this because of the artwork.
Yep.
Because of the giant smile. Very creepy dude. So the countdown is at 1, right? So it's 2 red, 3 generic. It says players may play a Magic subgame starting at 1 life and using their libraries as their decks. For the rest of the main game, if a source would deal damage to a player who didn't win that subgame, it deals double that damage to that player. So essentially, the way this works is you have your deck of cards, right? So you have your library. So you're missing whatever cards you've played, whatever cards in your hand, in your graveyard, just what's left in your library. You take that out, take your library, and you start a whole nother game of Magic. The only difference is you start at 1 life, and whoever wins that game, or whoever loses that game, is dealt double damage to the main game Pretty confusing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty confusing. So yeah, this is kind of the thing that wouldn't. I mean, there is a card in way back in one of the original sets that did something very similar to this as far as starting another game of Magic, but since then has never been reprinted and has been. I think it's actually banned or restricted. So the one thing I do want to show is the other thing is these lands. So normally the lands have like their border. Here's like an example. So this is a forest I have pulled up, and here's a forest from a standard set. It's got like this little.
I think I drawed that.
You drawed that. You
I
drew that. Drew that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you can see, there's no border. It's full art. There's no, mana symbol or anything like that. Everyone knows what a forest does.
It's a land.
It's a land. So.
It's just something you can play. Hi, Nana.
Did you wave to her? So it's, and the artwork is fantastic. John Avon's the artist. He did the last set, and then also on the original Zendikar set, he did the full art lands. So very cool.
I don't even know that.
Well, John Avon's an artist. He's the one that painted all these lands.
Oh.
All right. So there was another card.
Ooh
Actually,
la
there's a new. There is a new type of card. So let's see here. So let's look at two more cards, right?
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So there's these cards that are split now, right? This one is called half shark, half dash, right? So there's a shark on the picture.
Mm-hmm.
It says +3/+3. Greet your fish at the beginning of your upkeep, blank, and then it's got this augment, and then it's got a casting cost that you can augment.
Wait, it's a 3/3.
It gives +3/+3. So there's all these different cards that have say half shark, half something, right? And then there's another set of cards that kind of pairs with them. And again, you would never see this in regular Magic, so that's why it's kind of fun and kind of silly and stuff like that. So the last card we just looked at was half shark, half dash. So here's another card that you might get that's on its own, says dirty rat. So you would put the half shark, half blank over top of the left third of the card. It would say half shark, half rat, and it has like the bottom half of the rat and the front half of a shark. So your rat is a 1/1, and then the shark gives +3/+3. It's
just weird.
It is weird, isn't it? But there's all these different things. There's an octopus. There's a kitten. Let's look at the kitten.
Yeah, kitten.
So you can be like half shark, half cat, or kitten, I guess would be. There you go. Yeah, adorable kitten's the name of the card. So you would put the shark on the first half of it. So
or maybe kitten is first and shark's last.
Well, you can't do. You can only put there's only front half cards. Like they only fit a certain way, so you can't put like the tail end of a shark on the front end of a cat. But I don't know. It's very silly, right? So like here's like.
Like you put one of your cards here and like put one half over it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. That is exactly what you do.
And it's funny.
It is funny. So here's a monkey, right? So
monkey.
So you can do half monkey, half cat. Right? So, and they're really the biggest way you can tell is like do what?
Do the bunny.
The bunny? That's a squirrel.
Oh, that's a squirrel.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a bunny.
I didn't see one. There's a hummingbird. There's a camel, jellyfish.
Do jellyfish because Poppy loves jellyfish.
Poppy loves jellyfish. There's no spider, so that's a good thing, right?
Phew.
Phew.
Then it would have the head. And like, what if you did half spider, half
I don't know. That's probably why there is no spider. But then they also have like these other abilities and stuff like that work on
Half
when they're
rhino.
half rhino, half orc, things like that. There's half of a ninja. So that's another interesting mechanic that's inside this this new set.
Dinosaur.
Oh, there's a beaver,
Beaver.
crocodile. Hey, there's a kangaroo.
There's a spider coming up.
Right.
Because this would not be Poppy's show.
So no, there's no. So the other thing that's really cool is there's these contraptions, right? This is another type of what you call it?
Trainer cards from Pokemon.
Huh?
No,
they're not trainer cards. No. It's just another like another function of the set. So they've never had this before. These are called contraptions, right? And there are 5 different factions within this whole set, and each faction has 9 of these contraption cards. They each do a different thing. And basically the way you trigger this to work is there's different cards in the set that says crank your contraption. And when you crank the contraption, it's a phrase. You have a section, first section, a second section, and a third section. And each time you crank your contraption, that first, second, or third section actually goes off. So without getting too muddied with the actual rules and things like that. So this says whenever you crank Boomfinger, roll 2 6-sided dice. Boomfinger deals damage equal to target player equal to the difference between those results. So you roll 2 dice, and let's say you roll a 6 and a 1. It deals 5 damage to target player. So the way this would go off is if this is on, let's say, on your second section, and you crank to the second section, anything that's in that second section of your contraptions would go off. So if you had 2 of these, you would roll 4 dice, and if and kind of like going like that. Like I said, there are 9 of these for each faction, so 45 total. That's a lot of cards. So there's a whole bunch of them that are just all kinds of goofiness.
Mhm. Yeah, like half beaver, half.
Well, the contraptions are kind of interesting in their own way. So, anyway, all right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about real quick before we go? No, that's a no.
Pokemon.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that is this episode 28. Thanks for watching, guys. What? Oh, I'll give them to you when we're done. Make sure you head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/72DPI online, for all the content that we make each week, video games, magic related, everything. We really appreciate you watching on twitch.tv/72DPI online. We'll be back tomorrow night with 8-Bit, where I think Angel and I are going to be playing The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo 64. We're going to be streaming that sometime tomorrow night. So yeah, we'll see you guys then. But thanks for watching. You say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Later, guys.